This is a custom order wreath I'm making for a friend of mine. And this is for the state of Texas. So we've got this is a Texas sign. This came from Craft Outlet. And I thought it matched this ribbon too perfectly. Like, that's just made to go together. But the recipient has a lot of beige in their house too. So it's going to have, this is the other ribbon, because I don't want anything to be competing with this. This already has stripes. This already has 3 colors. So I wanted something neutral. And the mesh we're going to use is this mesh. Now, I am using the Dollar Tree frame because I like the size of it, but this is not going to be a pancake wreath. I'm going to ruffle up my mesh, and it's going to be a little fluffier. So we're going to do that. The first thing I want to do is, oh, good morning, Catherine. How are you? Here we go. I have not done lives recently because I've been, number 1, exhausted. Number 2, I also, I didn't want to show my face because I had a little boo-boo. I stepped off a curb and I face planted and I landed directly on my face and I stabbed myself in the face with my keys. So yeah, I was not looking too good for a while there. Not so good. All right. I'm going to do this just like I was doing, like if this were a pancake wreath. I'm putting my pipe cleaners on the wreath. I'm going to go around. You know what? Well, since I'm here, I think I'm going to do the staggered. Instead of going all inside and all outside, I'm just going to go one and then the other. Oh, okay. So Christmas crafters, how tired are you if you've been doing craft shows and prepping stuff? Are you exhausted? Because God knows I am. This is so tiring. But I did a thing. Black Friday sale. I bought one of those massage chairs, like at the mall. I bought one of them from Best Buy because it was on super sale, and then, 2 years financing. So, okay, why not? Oh my gosh, I sat in it for like an hour last night. It's amazing. I have back problems and shoulder problems and hip problems. I'm just a giant problem head to toe. So I got one of those last night. Oh my gosh. It arrived and it was just like, it looks like Emperor Palpatine's chair from Star Wars. So, but it was wonderful. So that was my little present to myself for working really hard this year. And I got sick and tired of spending $10 twice a week at the mall in their massage chair. When I'm like, you know what? I think it's just, here's girl math. It's more fiscally responsible for me to do that and pay myself to go in the massage chair than it is to pay somebody else. Plus, you don't know how many people have been sitting in those chairs. So, it's a thing. Alrighty. Yeah, Catherine, we got to take care of ourselves, right? I think sometimes, especially as women, we always put ourselves last. We're taking care of everybody else first. And we are always our own afterthought. And I'm not doing that to myself anymore. Especially, I got to go on a diet next year, guys. I have to lose weight. I'm diabetic. Apparently, it's a thing that happened last year. Well, it didn't happen. It's been happening for many, many, many years. So I got to take care of myself. I think this is kind of the first start of, okay, get back in touch with my body. My body says, girl, take a break. All right, so now I've got all of the pipe cleaners on the wreath. So I got 12 of them, 6 on the outside, 6 on the inside. Right there. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my mesh. I'm going to use this whole roll of mesh. I'm going to cut this 10-inch mesh at 18 inches a piece. But I'm going to cut the whole roll because I'm going to use it. So I like to try to flatten it out where it's like, I don't want to have it jumbled and rolled all over the place if I can avoid it, because that just, to me, it makes it harder because then my mesh goes rolling off the table and it snags and I'm trying to grab it. There's nothing worse than when you're on a live and all of a sudden you can see your mesh just go falling over the end of the table. Because for me to try to get around this camera, you guys would be shaking a lot. I can't get around there. A normal sized person probably could, but I've kind of gotten a little bigger and more clumsy. Anyone else getting more clumsier as they age? Like, well, obviously with face planting off a curb, I'm not extremely coordinated. There we go. The funny thing was, I did it, my daughter was with me. And I sat up and I didn't know what happened to me. Like, blood was everywhere, right? It only turned out to be a half-inch cut right under my nose, but blood was everywhere. My daughter's screaming for help. All these cars pass by in the parking lot. Nobody gets out. They just keep on going, which is fine. I took care of myself. But, okay, so here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to take you over here. This is my mesh roller, guys. This is from Susie's Wreaths and Things. And I have a link tree out there, but if you go to Susie's Wreaths and Things, this is the triple stationary mesh roller. Now, it can hold ribbon. It can hold 21-inch mesh. It can hold gift wrap if your roll is small enough. I absolutely love this. Between this and the glue gun holder and my bow maker, I cannot work without these. So it holds it in place. It just comes up with these dowels. It has a nice little separator in there. It's fantastic. It makes everything so much easier to cut when I'm not struggling with the material, because you know what it's like when you're trying to cut mesh and stuff's going everywhere. So I do love that. Keep going with this. But here's my advice. Always keep a roll of paper towel in your car, because that helped me a lot. And I would not have come out of that as unscathed if I didn't have a giant roll of paper towel in the car. Do you know why I keep it in there? In case I spill my drinks in the car. Because again, I'm so uncoordinated. But it's actually very helpful. I already got it, and I was able to use that to help myself. Here we go. Also, if you got kids, well, you should always have paper towel in the car. You know what kids are like. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Almost done. Some more 18. And if I do... Oh. Well, that ain't going to be enough. Nope, we're done. I do have another roll of this mesh. Should I decide that it's not fluffy enough and I want to do another round? My goal is to try to put 2 inches of ruffles on two ruffles on the outside and 1 on the inside, to see how that goes. So let's start. So it already is kind of like rolling up by itself, right? So kind of roll it once or twice. Here we go. And then I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to scrape and walk it up. We're making a bow tie shape. Bow tie. Hello, nice to meet you. Wearing a nice bow tie there. All right. And I'm going to put that on the outside. I'm going to put another one in there, but I'm using that just to hold it for right now. So I'm going to put that there. Let me do another one. Making sure you guys can see enough. Roll, roll, roll. I might change. I'm going to switch sides. Hold on a second. Here, I'm going to put in our second one. There we go. See, this is going to be nice and full and fluffy. It's not going to be too fluffy. That's still being able to be on top of it, but I wanted something that's a bit fuller. Now, just to see how I like it, I am going to try to put one behind it right now. I haven't made a wreath in this style in a long time, so I'm a little rusty. Hang in there with me. Here we go. Yeah, you can swipe to get rid of the comments. You can just kind of swipe it there. Okay, here we go. I'm putting 1 in the back here. See if I like it. Yeah, I think so. Because I'm going to have a sign over it, and I'm going to have a bow, so there's no reason to really have 2 sets of ruffles in the back. I think, however, I am going to put my 1 set on the inside ring and then do the outside. That's going to make it easier for me. So I'm going to move that. Make sure you guys can see better. I moved my mesh. I moved my wreath ring up there, and then you guys can watch me ruffle. Here we go. It's like that. Do you guys remember the old thing? Ruffles have ridges, and I can't roll my R's. But that was back in the day, that was the old commercial. Oh, here we go. I did have some 4th of July themed mesh, but I felt it was a little too 4th of July and not Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a little over the top with stars and stripes, where this is really focusing on, this is what the state flag of Texas looks like. So that's why I didn't go digging for that. Also, it is way up high and I have to get on a ladder. And given my past proclivity for accidents, I decided that's not a good idea right now. Here we go. Rolling it in there. I used to not like 10-inch mesh. I used to focus mainly just on 21-inch mesh. And, you know, that was making a nice big poofy wreaths, but it feels like things are kind of moving away from that. I still do use it on occasion if I'm making a particularly large wreath, but I mainly use my 21-inch mesh now for tomato cage trees. Here we go. Now I'm rolling 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do, 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 do. So tonight, I might, well, actually tomorrow night, I'm taking my daughter to see. There's a house decorated here in by me. Now, I live in Plainfield, Illinois. This house is in Naperville, Illinois. But they did a whole Taylor Swift theme with their Christmas lights and all these signs and everything else. So I am excited to go see that. I am a newbie Swiftie, guys. Like, I had seen Taylor Swift open for Faith Hill and Tim McGraw probably back in, I don't know, maybe 2008, 2009. I can't remember exactly when. Okay, now we're going to start with our double ruffles. So there's the first one. I mean, she was really good, but I'm not a huge country fan. Don't come at me for that. I mean, I like listening to it. I listened to it a lot, like in the 90s. But my tastes, I go through cycles. I haven't really been in that cycle lately, but as she's become more pop mainstream, and as I learn more about her, I really like her. I really like her. My daughter loves to listen to that in the car, and I'm all for it because it's nice to listen to something that's not a Disney soundtrack for once. So I would be excited to go see this house. Maybe if I go there, I can do a video and post it. You guys can see what it looks like. But they've got all these signs, and it's all themed, and like all signs from different albums. So that'll be fun. I might have to cut another roll of mesh, which, you know, I don't want to do. I don't like having half rolls of mesh left over. But I want to make sure that this is nice and full. And sometimes instead of putting them one on top of each other, I can kind of try to put them like next to each other a little bit. So it's not so much layered, but just a little bit wider. Yeah, I kind of like that too. Here we go. Oh, definitely going to need another roll of mesh. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. The other reason we want to go over by that Taylor Swift house is it's by Taco Bell. I am 100% motivated by food. You know, you could tell me, oh, deep down in the depths of hell is demons and whatnot, but there's also a Krispy Kreme. I might be inclined to just pop down there for a visit. All right, here we go. Which is why I got to lose some weight. I'm also going to try to revamp my craft space in January. I don't have very good overhead lighting. I have all these lights on stands and hanging from poles, but this used to be my living room, and I don't have any ceiling lighting in here, so I think we're going to have to do a little ceiling lighting in here, I think, because it just needs it. I don't like when I do videos, I want people to be able to see it very well. Here we go. This is not a pancake wreath, Monica. This is actually just this is a ruffle wreath. So if this were pancake, let me show you what a pancake would do, how I would roll that. If this were pancake, it would be flat, and I would be going up like this. Right? And then I would be kind of holding it, and it would overlap like this. And that would make it nice and thin. That is not what this one is. This does not have to fit on someone's storm door. So I'm doing, I think they're called like ruffles. I'm just kind of rolling the edges inward. And then I roll it up. And then I'm putting it in here. Because I didn't really want to use a larger wreath frame because I think that was going to get too big for this sign. Also, there's not too much hanging on it. But also the depth on some of those is pretty big. So, do a little snip, snip. There we go. This is a, what kind of material is this? I can tell you in a second. Hold on. Put my head through. Sorry. So this came from, this is the Christmas section at Hobby Lobby. This is a Poly Pro mesh ribbon. It is weatherproof. So it does have a bit of like, you know, it almost feels like a slight little plastic coating on there. But I'll tell you what, this stuff is not, it's not fraying at all. This is fantastic for something from a mesh from Hobby Lobby. And I love it. This is great. I got to go back and buy more of this because this is like year round. You can imagine farmhouse, right? Perfect for farmhouse. 4th of July, Valentine's Day, if you want more of a rustic look. So now is the time to buy stuff from the Christmas section when it's 50% off, and think about what other holidays you can use it for, because there's so many holidays you can use it for. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Guys, I think this is the last one. I think I made it. I don't think I have to cut anymore. That would be fantastic. All right. Get that in there. Yeah, that one's got 2. I made it with a piece to spare. Oh, awesome. Fantastic. So, this is the wreath. I'm going to try to hold it far enough back where you guys can see. Hopefully it's far enough back. I don't know. Come closer. I can't move the camera back any further. Well, maybe I can a little bit. Hold on. Hold on. Going for a ride. I'll try. There we go. You guys can see. So the width is, it's 10 inches. This is probably a 22-inch wreath once I got this on there. So this is the thickness. So this is not a pancake wreath. It's a little fluffier, but still not terribly big. And then this is what the back looks like. And see, there's no fraying. Like, this is amazing. This weatherproof stuff, really good. All right. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I gotta make some tails. I'm gonna cut some tails. Where's my tail board? Oh no! I left it in my other room. Darn it. All right. Let me think what I can do. Oh gosh. All right, I'm gonna have to go old school on this, guys. I can't believe I left my ribbon board. Hold on a second. All right, I'll show you. I'm going to have to measure up by hand. I don't want to do that. Oh, no. It's in my, I think it's in my family room on a table. Yeah. I started with, I did 12 pipe cleaners. I did 6 on the inside where the spine is. Here. I did 6 on the inside where the spine is. And then I did 6 on the outside, but between the spine. So it's staggered. Okay, stay here. I'm going to be right back. Give me 30 seconds. I'll try not to fall. Okay, I'm back. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So this is my ribbon tail board. I'm going to cut them at 14 inches. Now this board is by Hot Mesh Mom. I love this. This is, again, one of the top 4 tools I cannot work without. So, I'm going to cut 12 of these. Actually, go this way. 12 of these at 14 inches a piece. So just hold on to that and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then I'm going to cut it. And slide it off. Now you can see it's kind of like a little loop, right? You can kind of see the path. I trim it. And then I do the same on the other side. So now I have 12 ribbon tails. I'm going to keep them in a group of 6. And I am going to fold this in half, cut from the inside out toward the wired edge. Boom! This is how to cut your ribbon tails. Now, sometimes if it's a thicker ribbon, or if I weren't on a live, I might have broken this down into a smaller grouping. So it's not so bad to cut, but there we go. It's a dovetailed end. Let me dovetail these again. This part goes pretty quick. Now putting them in, not so much. And then we're going to make a bow with this ribbon as well. So this is going to be where the sign is kind of on the bottom, like the middle to the bottom right, and then the bow is going to be on the upper left. That's kind of, I don't know, I think pretty standard. I think most of us make a lot of wreaths that way. but it just seems to always be like bow on the left is, I think, how most people's eye want it to go. I've tried bow on the right before, and there's just something that just didn't look right about it to me. This wire wreath frame, this is the 14-inch frame from Dollar Tree. I like it because it is thinner. I mean, you could get frames like that, just frames without the work frame, without the tines on it, from like Craft Outlet, whatnot. But I like those, unless if I'm putting a lot of heavy stuff on there, then I cannot use that. Here we go. All right, take out my pin. Now this came from, I think this was Craft Outlet. This is a polyester ribbon. There's the item number. But I like this because it's thinner, but like it's got a good wire. So let's do 12 of these babies. All right, come on. My hands are not cooperating. Oh, and my laundry's done. Well, that's just great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm cutting 12 because we have 6 groups of ruffles on the inside ring and 6 groups of ruffles on the outside ring. So each little pipe cleaner in there is going to have a grouping of ribbons in there. You don't have to. Like sometimes you might want to just put a bow in and not put anything behind it. But for this one, I want to make sure I've got lots of pretty tails. All right. I'm going to cut this. 1, 2, 3. Ugh. Yeah, I got to sharpen my fiskars. I bought a knife sharpener that had it had a scissors part in there, but I don't know. I think I'm going to get the Fiskars scissor sharpener. It's like $6, and I think it looks a lot easier to use. Okay, there is the beige, one set. Now the second set. I like to make sure all my tails are even. And then bend it like that. So you wire together. Cut to the inside out. Cut to the inside out. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to make anyone's playlist anytime soon. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. I do have to sharpen them because I don't want it to have my dull scissors, and then it doesn't look sharp when you cut your dovetails. All right, so obviously the beige is going to go behind and the star is going to go on top. Remove my ribbon, my board. Okay. Dee, thank you for joining. Karina, Nicole, thank you guys for joining. So we are making a wreath today. I'm going to show for people who just joined. This is the sign we're going to be using. Yeehaw, y'all. Texas. I was actually in Texas for Wreath Makers Live back in July. Life-changing event. Okay, so I'm taking 2 of these ribbons, beige on bottom, star on top, lay it flat, fold it so the ends meet, and then you're going to push down here. You want to watch for this seam, okay? That's going to be where it tells you where you're going to gather it up. So I'm just going to pinch it up, just like this, kind of gather it. And I like to bend mine down before I put it in the wreath. So I'm going to open that up, put that in there. I'm going to do the outside first, and then I'm going to do the inside. Because the outside ones I always have come down, but the inside ones, sometimes I like to push the tails a bit more inward. But I'm a creature of habit, so I'm going to do it all one way first and then go and do the rest. I am going to trim off everything but about like an inch. And then I just take the pipe cleaner, just kind of push it back between right there. It kind of hides it, and I'm going to separate it out. I like to have my bottom ribbon come out first on the right. And then it'll come out toward the middle here. Oh, this is going to be so cute. So cute. Alrighty. And sometimes I'll have to go back and reposition the ribbons, because as I move stuff around, stuff moves. You know, life happens. Alright, so we're going to keep going to that around. We're going to do this 11 times. So now is the part where we get to chat. So what are you guys up to this week? Do you have any craft shows coming up? Are you starting to put out your Christmas stuff? Have you already gotten it out? I would love to know. All my Christmas stuff is out. I really half-assed it outside this year, though. I didn't put up, like, the pretty colored lights. I just did like a couple red spotlights, our inflatable snowman, and of course my 2 inflatable My Little Ponies, because no Christmas is complete without My Little Ponies. That's my daughter's big thing. So we got that up. It's just, I didn't have the heart to do it this year. I'm getting very tired. My husband passed 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, right before Christmas. So, you know, there's some parts about Christmas that are a little triggering for me, but I have worked very hard to have it not ruin Christmas. And I think I've been able to separate that in my mind pretty well. I don't get a feeling of dread when I think of Christmas. I only get it when I hear the month December. So that's okay. But it's just harder not to have help and to be trying to put everything out by myself. My daughter is almost 11, and you know, she tries to help, and she's a good errand girl with, hey, go grab this, go find me a mallet, that kind of thing. But in terms of, hey, can you just put these lights on a tree? No. So I decided to cut myself some slack and said, okay, this year I'm just going to be taking it easy. I think that's going to be the theme of next year too. Taking it easy. The older I get, the harder some stuff seems to get. I'm only 50. It's not like I'm like 95 or something. But it's like I turned 50 and the manufacturer's warranty on my body expired. See? And no one called me then to ask if I wanted to pay for an extended warranty. No. Just for my car. All right, here we go. Moving it around. This is going to turn out so pretty. I am so excited for this. I hope the recipient is too. The ribbon is from Craft Outlet. Both the star ribbon and I think this 50-yard spool of this beige. Let me get you the... It's RGE 163827. That is this. And it also goes with this sign. That's just MD0817 on the back of the sign. But I just thought they're perfect together. It's got the single star, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that this felt Texas. I did not want this to feel 4th of July. It's very, very specific about that. Alrighty, here we go. Coming in, putting this around. You know, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to grab myself some breakfast, go sit in my massage chair and watch The Price is Right. I haven't been able to sit down in the morning and do that in a long, long time. So today I'm going to do that. Alrighty, here we go. And I think I still have some Thanksgiving leftovers for lunch. I think they're still good. I don't know. I'll eat it, and if I get sick, oh well. Then lesson learned. All right. Oh, Nicole got a #1 glitter badge. Awesome. Here we go. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. It makes me feel a little less lonely. My daughter leaves for school, and then it's kind of just me here with the dog, of course. Who, by the way, I just saw she pooped in the family room, so we're gonna fix that up when I finish here. Fun times here in the Helgeson house. All right, so now we've done, this is just the outside ribbons. You can see they all angled outward. Now on the inside, I'm going to try to do more of an X shape so that it starts to fill in some of the center. Because while the sign is gonna you know, cover quite a bit of it, but there's still going to be some spots here, and I want to make sure that we've got good color coverage. I don't want it to look like something was missing or like it's inconsistent with how it's spread out. So same thing I did before. Now I'm going to go find my first inside one. It's kind of hard to find. There's a lot of mesh in there. It's kind of hard to find. All right. I'm putting that in there. I'm still going to do the same thing with the pipe cleaner. I'm still going to snip it off, leaving about an inch. Oh, Mary, thank you so much. Sorry, I know sometimes when I start chatting away, I'm a little too TMI on a lot of things, you know, but that's okay. I mean, they tell you to be who you are when you're on a live, and that's who I am. I'm gross. And I'm also clumsy. So I'm doing a series right now called Ribbon of the Day, but maybe I should turn it into Injury of the Day. That might be more like me. Oh, here we go. Oops. Okay, so you can see I found like a little string where I got a little snag. I'm just going to snip that. You can't even really see it, but I can tell it's there. So you may have to go through and do this, but this mesh from Hobby Lobby, from the Christmas section, this particular mesh with the red and beige, it is not fraying much at all. Like, it is really nice. Here we go. And it was $5. $5, guys, because it's 50% off. So get it now. I know some stores had fall that was 90% off. Mine didn't seem to have any fall left over when I went. I think that was all pretty much gone by that point. But hey, can't hurt if you got the room to store it, which I do, because as each kid moves out, I take over their room. I store my stuff in there, not so much the supplies, but the finished products, because I don't want to keep that in my garage. But all my supplies I'm trying to keep in plastic bins, that way it stays clean. But my goal, I would love to be able to fit my car in my garage before it snows again. So that's my goal for Sunday. Saturday is my last show. I have a one-day show at Trinity Christian School in Shorewood, Illinois here. And it's just a Friday night setup, which is fantastic. I did a show last weekend where it was not a Friday night setup, and the doors opened to set up at 5:30 a.m. Let me tell you guys, I am not a morning person. I'm not an afternoon person. I'm like an early evening person. And it was hard. I was exhausted. Because then you set up. I got up at like 4:30. And then you set up, and then you sit there, and, I'm talking to people and trying to be, interact with them and everything else. But I had to take all my leftover Halloween candy because I needed something to keep me awake. Which, great to keep me awake. Not so good for my A1C. Here we go. Send us some snow south. I tell you, if I could pack this stuff up and send it to you, that'd be great. It snowed here a couple days ago, and it's not on the streets anymore, though it did ice over a little bit. But we still have snow on the grass. That I don't mind. I don't like it when it's like, I don't like it when it's icy. I took my car in on Monday because it had some electrical issues going on, and the pavement, the asphalt was black. And I took like one step out of the car and I slid on the black ice. And fortunately my ass was still over the seat. So I literally fell right back down into my seat of the car. But it was like doing the splits. And that hurt. But I was glad I didn't fall on the pavement again. That's just what I don't like about wintertime up here in Chicago. I can deal with snow. I'm afraid of falling. Gee, I wonder why. Because it keeps happening. Why? All right, this is the last set of ribbon tails I'm putting in here. And you can see I've been doing these in an X shape. So we'll do this again. Let me wrap this. I don't know. I leave maybe like an inch and a half. I want to make sure it's enough on there where I can kind of push it back and it's not going to get, it's not going to pop back up. All right, so then pretty ribbon up, icky ribbon down. Icky ribbon up, pretty ribbon down. Okay. All right, so then this is the kind of coverage that we've gotten on our wreath. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see that well. So now I want to attach the sign. I used some E6000 earlier. This is a cable tie mount. I got a whole bag of these. These came from Deco Exchange, cable tie mounts. They come on a bag of 100. You can also get these, at your home improvement store, but I like the ones from Deco Exchange because I love everything about Deco Exchange. And I also then secured that with some hot glue around the outside. That's kind of like a secondary holder in there just until the E6000 cures completely. So I am going to run a pipe cleaner right through there. And I just kind of twist it. Hopefully you guys can see. And then up here, this has like the picture hanger, like the little teeth. I'm going to kind of do the same thing up there. Boom, boom. Flip it over. Let's get all the glitter off the sign. One thing I do have, here's one of my little tips and tricks. And I just have gone over to the travel section or whatnot, like at Target. but let me get this off. Get a lint roller because it really helps to catch all that extra little pieces of glitter that you can't really get off. Right now I'm trying to get a fresh piece on my lint roller. Come on. It's sticking to my fingernails. Stop sticking to me and just come off. Eek. All right, well, forget that. I'm just going to pull off what I can here. Here we go. Got some good spot. But I like to just kind of roll it over stuff. Try to catch some of the sparkles and the extra little glitter that you wouldn't want on a sign like this. There we go. Excellent. All right. Now I'm going to position this. I'm probably going to start with positioning the bottom one first, and then we can finagle the top. So the bottom one I always like to have in like where I already have a spot. You can see this is where everything else went in before. There's my other pipe cleaner. I'm going to put it right through that exact same spot. All right. And then I'm going to pull it down a little bit, kind of sort of play with the positioning a little bit. All right. I'm going to roll it over. I'm not going to tighten it super tight right now. I'm just kind of do that until I get the top in, and then I can really finish the placement. That's just kind of holding it temporarily. MB Crafts by Max. Hey, Max, how's it going? Are you exhausted too? I know, you have to be because you're constantly working. Max is amazing, guys. Just amazing. He is the future of the wreath making community, in my opinion. All right, I'm trying to get this through. I'm trying to figure out where this could go best. I mean, I could pull it through here where it is, but then you're probably going to see some of this pipe cleaner, and I don't really want that unless I kind of buried it behind some of the other stuff. That seems a little too obvious, and that's a little too middle because I have to have a bow over here, so I think I'm going to move it up. I think I might go this way with it, guys. I think that's kind of the way I want to go. So let's go. And I might end up having to put the pipe cleaner through some of the mesh. I don't normally like to do that, but this might be necessary at this point. Oh, actually, no, it's not. No, it's not. There we go. All right. I kind of just pushed it between where the mesh was. Okay, so twist, twist, twist. This I twist a little bit longer because I want to be able to wrap it around the frame, so I'll just cut off the extra tail. And I just kind of turn it, and then I just kind of wrap it above and then under, and then pinch it together. I just don't want it to snag on anything or to, to poke anybody, which it won't, because that's why I like pipe cleaners. Like, it can't really hurt you. Now watch, I'll say that, and I'll probably poke myself in the face later with the pipe cleaner. Okay. All right, here is our sign. And I'm going to have a bow kind of over here, and it's going to come down. So this is, I'm liking it. I wish this were further down just a little bit, but I think if it were, it would look kind of weird. So let me spread out my tails a little bit here. All right, I'm going to move this to the side because now we're going to do the fun part, guys. We're making a bow. Bow, bow, bow. Exhausted is an understatement, right? Like, I'm an autopilot. I drove to the last craft show, and I don't remember driving there. That's one of those kind of things. That's dangerous. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to pass behind you guys because I have to go get a ribbon really quick. Bear with me. I forgot to pick out a 1/2-inch ribbon to go in the center, so let me find... I want a 1/2-inch red, solid red. And I found it. Okay, here we go. Again, I don't want to take away from the pattern that's on that red, white, and blue striped. Oops, I knocked India, sorry. Okay, so I got beige. Let me show you. Here's kind of how I'm all stacked, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. There's my stack. There's my stack. I got to move this over. Sorry, I don't... Let me go here. Let me do this. You go up there. You move over there. Ugh. I need a bigger table. All right. I'm going to try to angle you guys where you can see. I'd rather have you see where I can where I can do this. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to start with my bottom one. Now the tail, I'm taking those ribbons off. I think the tail I want to probably have, let me see. I'm going to cut like a 16-inch tail, but I'm going to definitely trim it. I think I just want to make sure I don't go too short. So 16-inch tail, put it through there. I'm doing the pinch and twist, guys. The bend and snap, the pinch and twist. All right. This first loop is going to be out at, I don't want it to be too wide. So we're going to go at, I think 6 inches there. 6 inches there, pinch and twist, come back through, 6 inches there, pinch and twist, bend and snap. All right, then pinch and twist again. This is kind of a fluffy wreath, so I think I'm going to do, let me see how many loops I want to do on this one. Make sure it hits the 6. That's the key, is it doesn't really matter how far out you go, it just has to stay consistent on either side and across each loop. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of, don't laugh, but I think I want to put one behind here. All right. Maybe I'll move that one up to the top. And I'll do another loop this way. So this is actually kind of like 5 loops, really. I do this sometimes when I want to make sure that nothing's going to like flop backwards. All right. Yes, I know this is coming down the same side as the other tail, but once I get the bow made and I can move that tail over, you're never going to know. They're going to know. They're not going to know. All right. And I'm going to dovetail it now because I can't wait. All right. So there is layer number 1. You can see it's got 1 in the center and then 2 on either side. Because I hate when I make a bow and then there's like a gap at the top. I don't like that. All right. Here we go. Oops. Rolling the rest of that up. All right, now comes the pretty ribbon. And I don't think it really matters if it's that way or that way. It looks the same. I'm going to start by dovetailing it. Now, I'm going to end this ribbon about, I would say maybe like an inch below the other one. Okay, so that's perfect. So this tail was going to end up being, this was going to kind of hit it like 14. Okay. Pinch and twist. Now this time I'm only going to do 4 loops, 2 on either side. But because the previous layer was 6 inches, this one I am going to make at like, let's do like, I think 5. Well, okay, like 5 1/4. How's that for specific? 5 1/4. Platform 9 3/4. All right. There we go. My daughter wore a Harry Potter t-shirt to school today. That's why I was making a Harry Potter joke. She finally started watching the Harry Potter movies, guys, like a month ago. We are on, I think, going into movie number 6. But I'm like, she didn't want to watch them. And I'm like, okay, well, you're going to be 11, and Harry Potter was like 11 when he got into Hogwarts. So, you know, now is the time, kiddo. Now is the time. Okay, make sure these are, okay, same size over there. All right. Do. I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to make another set of loops, guys. I want to make this a really nice big full bow. I'm going for, so we're having 6 loops. I lied. If there were strawberries or lemons on here, would that make it Fruit Loops? Sorry. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I like that because I really want to have this be very colorful. The beige is just supposed to be a background player. So here we go. I'm going to cut this tail pretty much the same length as the other one. And then I'm going to use that 1.5 inch ribbon now. We're going to do a nice little top loop. And look, I even have some left. What I like to do sometimes if I have a little bit of ribbon left like that is I make an extra little bow and I just give it to the recipient, because then they can put it on something they already have, like a lantern, and especially because this is going to a friend of mine. So of course she's going to get some extra. She's actually the photographer at my daughter's wedding. Okay, we do that. That's about an inch left in that. So this one is coming in at 13. All right. Now let me see how many loops I want to do on this one. And I'm going to do what I call a sweet center. So I'm going to do a center loop in the middle when I'm done. So I'm going to do 5. If the one behind it was 5, I want to fill in. I want to have a loop. I want to have a loop right in here, because otherwise it's a big gap. And I don't like that so much. So this loop is coming out at, I would call it 4.5 inches. I know you could stick with just a 6/5 and a 4, but sometimes when you go to attach that ribbon and then you kind of pull it in and tighten it on the wreath, it kind of sucks it in and it takes away a little bit of the width. So I'd rather have it be a little bit larger, and then I can literally, quote, suck it up. Here we go. This loop is going to go in the center. Okay, and I got one more loop on this side, and then we'll make the little sweet center. We're almost done, guys. This went pretty quick. Okay, here we go, twisting it. Now here's the center loop. I'd say it's maybe about like 1.5 inches. Yeah, I'd call it like 1.5 inches. All right, trimming this off, making sure it's gonna kind of match that one. Getting my end dovetailed. Here we go. So now, because I've got lots of lighter colors and this has got the white, I'm going to go with the clear colored pipe cleaner around here. And then I'm going to put zip tie, and then I'm going to put a red pipe cleaner on the back. So I'm going to find, okay, here's my center. This is the most important part. We're not going to let go of this, because if you let go, you got to do it all over. Hold it really tight like a sandwich, right? Like I don't want anything sliding out of my big old sandwich here. I got to keep it all together from the bottom up, okay? I hold it really tight in my left hand because I'm righty. I'm going to put this right behind the bow, just under my finger. And then I have a zip tie. I put that between my fingers. I slide it between my middle and my ring finger. Just tuck that slightly under my thumb. Bring it around back. And then pull it. Okay, now I've got it kind of tight. Now I can let go a little bit and relax. I'm going to pull that all the way toward the back. Make sure everything looks good. I like everything. Nothing looks weird. Now I'm going to pull with the strength of Thor. Okay, there we go. And then snip. Boop. And then I like to just twist around pipe cleaner just once. I don't want it sliding back and forth on the pipe cleaner when I attach it to the wreath. So I'm going to move my bow maker. This is the Easy Design Pro bow maker. And I dropped my scissors. Oh, okay. So let's take a look. Looks good, but we got to fluff this, right? So let's make sure all of our loops are where they need to be. Okay. So we've got this one in the center. I'm going to separate these out. Okay, there we go. So I have that in the center, and so beige behind there, and then it comes the star, and then the beige, and then the star, and then the beige, and the star. Kind of the same on the other side. These can kind of fluff up. All right, and then, of course, here's what we do. Run our fingers all the way down either side of the ribbon, of the wires. That's going to give it that little curve, right? It's going to make it lay nicely. There's a wire in there. Make it work. Use it to your advantage. All right. And then we'll fluff it again once we get it on there. Okay, I'm going to get the wreath. Hold on. Let me move my glue gun so I don't burn myself. Because if there's a way to burn myself, I will find it. All right, angle you over a little bit more. Here we go. The moment of truth. Bum, 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 bum. What's it going to look like? Let's take a look. Okay, here's our wreath. I'm going to try to put it right here. I'm going to hold it there just for a second and see if I like it. I'm going to play with the placement a little bit. Yep, I like it. I don't want to cover this too much. See how this comes in on an angle? So, like, the bow can kind of just go, you know, go over that slightly. And I think, hold on a second. I don't think I like that. I don't think I like that, guys. This is not tight. Here. I'm going to undo this. It was moving around a little bit too much. I think what I need to do is actually feed it through the mesh, and that'll help it not move. So, let's... And I'm not gonna not do it just because I'm on a live and be like, ooh, I made a mistake. Hey, you never know sometimes until you get everything all together what you're gonna need to have to go do. And sometimes rework is just part of it. I'm gonna put it through the bottom ruffle because then the other top ruffle can kind of cover that pipe cleaner. Okay, flip it over again. Nice and tight. Wrapping it around. Then I tuck it under so that nothing snags and we're all good. All right. I think that's better. Still wish I could have put that down a little bit more, but that's okay. Once we get our bow in there, it'll be good. All right. Now, I want this to be a little bit lower. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I know, it's like, oh God, how many times are you going to move the sign? I'm going to move it as many times as I need to until I'm happy with the placement. The sign is telling me where it needs to go. See, I'm just going to kind of move it down here toward these bottom ones. I'm going to punch this pipe cleaner up through some of this mesh, which is kind of hard to do once you've twisted it because it's not really straight anymore, but that's okay. Come on. Come on, get through there. You can do it. I believe in you. Yay, it did it. See? I knew you could do it. You had the power inside you all along. All right. Yeah, that came down a little lower. I like that better. Because, you know, Texas is one of the southern states, so I feel like the sign should, like, you know, be kind of southern. Going down in the south there. Texas was beautiful. It was hot in July. Oh my gosh, was it hot. Holy cow. First thing I did when I got there is I went to a Shake Shack. to get me a milkshake. Because I had to walk to the bank. I forgot all my cash, so I had to walk to the bank. And let me tell you, I am not used to walking in Texas. Holy cow. Do you know it's hot down there? I'm sure you do, because a lot of you live there. Okay. Here we go. All right, I like that placement better. I'm going to try to put the bow right over here now. I'm going to kind of go... I'm not putting it directly through here. I'm kind of just feeding it sort of through the same spot, but not exactly. So here we go. Now this one I've got a couple layers of mesh to go through, so it's a little trickier of a thing, but that is okay. I'm going to go through the mesh there. Come on, come on. I see you, I see you. Come on. There we go. All right. Pulling it down. And I'm going to kind of pull it and just hold it in place first to see if this is where I like it. And I think it is, because I'm making sure, I want to make sure I'm not covering up that star. All right, so I'm going to just see how I kind of came through the mesh a little bit. Normally I don't like to do that, but because of the way this bow is, I did. What does it do as I say, not as I do? Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta break the rules to make the rules. Yeah. Here we go. If my daughter saw this, then no, that does not apply to you. All right. Here we go. Now I can kind of play with where the tails come down. I'm actually glad I did go with the longer tails when I first started this, because I think those are good. And I'm gonna, of course, play with the placement of my ribbon tails that are around the rest of the wreath, because now they've gotten a little moved around as I've made my little mess. So here we go. Pull the loops down. Okay, I'm liking it. I am liking the length. I think I do want to make these top ones, though, a little shorter. So I'm going to cut off, what was that, like a 1/2 to 3/4 inch. Okay. Now, see, these two are not even under here. Let me see. Let me pull that down. Nope. This beige one is about 1/2 inch too long, so little snippet. Doesn't have to be exact, but like that was just a little too much disparity. And then this one has to have a 1/2 inch cut off as well, because I want to be able to see the bottom of that poking out. I don't want them to be right. See how those are like almost on top of each other, almost exactly the same length. We don't want that. We don't want to do that. Here we go. All right. Okay. Let me do a quick adjustment of the tails. Sometimes these tails like to kind of go back to overlapping each other, which we're not going to let them do. No siree. Here we go. I'll probably have to play with it again a couple times. Even when I go to take the pictures and when I go to ship it out, just to make sure that everything is where it should be. But there we go. Hold on. Where's the beige one? Here we go. Sometimes you got to go back and dig out. Some of your ribbons might get stuck behind the sign. So I like to go back and dig them out so they're not stuck. The same here with the ones behind the bow. Sometimes they can get stuck behind there. And sometimes people don't put tails behind the bow, and that is fine too. I had the ribbon. I figured, why not? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. I can do baseball wreaths, Patsy. I'll show you something I have for that in a minute. So here we go. Here is our finished Texas wreath, y'all. I'm not Southern. I can't say that. I feel like a fraud if I do. But here we go. Liking it, loving it. I hope that they like it, because I think this turned out really cute. Let me get further back and get you a better angle, because I know you guys are kind of a little too close. Here we go. There. How's that? I've got a delay, so hold on. Give me a second, and we'll see if it catches up. I can see if it's good. Yep. That is good. There is our Texas wreath, guys. And here's a better look at the finished wreath. You can see it's got the nice fluffy loopy bow. It's got the cute sign attached, and it's not super thin, but it's not super thick. That's why I like using this ruffle method. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on social media, and you can also shop my store at sweetarydecor.com.